Hey, what's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Investment Perspectives. I hope everybody had a really good holiday season, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah. I hope you had a great holiday season. If you don't celebrate any holiday, I hope you just had a chance to get together with some people that you love. I wanted to get together today because I wanted to do like a holiday recap. We had a lot of little things come out, which were really cool. Don't forget that the 4 bills that were introduced last week, I have in a link below all my videos so you guys can take a look at that information, and also have a layout of that consultant PDF where you can see the timeline that Ripple is working on for their full implementation of what they do with XRP. So I encourage you to take a look at those links below. And also, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Backup Bradley. It's BAKKUP Bradley, no spaces. So let's talk about it. So last week I had the 4 bills that got introduced on the House of Representatives floor. We're going to see what goes on with that. We still need a vote there. We know that the U.S., this is a recap, we know that the U.S. is the president of the FATF, which is the Global Oversight Committee for all the exchanges throughout the whole globe, and there's complete compliance among everyone. We know that we got some good news from CZ Binance, and he added Tron base pairing to XRP, which is fantastic. And I think we're going to see even more, as we in the coming days too. Also, we had a really good news, I thought, with DX.Exchange announcing, which if you don't know and you're not aware, DX.Exchange is NASDAQ's cryptocurrency platform. Bit of a big deal. They are announcing that their launch date is now January 7th, 2019. So we're just a couple weeks away, really a few weeks away from that. Now, Bakkt has got a launch date of January 24th. Now, if you're not aware of that, Bakkt is the cryptocurrency platform owned by ICE, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange. Pretty big news there, too. Now, their launch date is on January 24th, 2019. However, I just read an article a couple days ago, and all of the stuff that I look at, I share on Twitter, so you can find the stuff there. They did mention in the article that they may get postponed a second time. Apparently, Bakkt does have the licensure for Bitcoin futures and the approval within that licensure to move forward on it. However, it said in the article here, the sticky point that they're still having here is that Bakkt still needs exemption clearance from the CFTC on how they're storing it in the custodial side of things, because they want to store apparently the Bitcoin for their own clients in their own warehouse. So they're going to need an exemption from the CFTC before they can really move forward on that. Now, whether that is just some kind of a put, I always see like so much manipulation that I look at those kinds of little things and I think that's more market manipulation thing. Everything's not ready. You guys have heard me say 100 times that, there's so much happening in concert behind the scenes. We're backstage, the whole legislation, everything's being written backstage, and it's all about to come out. And it's just really on the edge of it all. And I can't help but feel like those kinds of things, they may be real sticky points. Sometimes I feel like, they're just the little things they get to say to us until they're ready to go, because I feel like they're ready to go. ErisX, the CEO, we had Tom Chippis, I think it was last week, we listened to. He was talking to a gentleman on Real Talk for TD Ameritrade, and he gave us his description of what he wants ErisX to look like, and he described that he wanted to look like a commodities market. And he eventually wants to be able to see the products launched on top of the underlying assets so they can build more liquidity. Now, that's something in the last video that we had about that we didn't really touch on. So now in commodities, they build these other products and layer them on top of the underlying asset so that they can make more liquidity. They can create more money by offering more products. If you remember in the one of the last videos we had, we talked about, the example was gold in the article, I believe it was the Abacus Journal, and they were saying that there was 100 billion traded per day in gold, the actual physical asset, and then there was 500 billion traded daily in the products on top of that asset, which could be many different things, right? It could be futures contracts, it could be ETFs, it could be call options, things like that. And we also did mention, as a side note also, that if you get into those things outside of futures, like ETFs and call options, they do fall into a third tier product, and you will be dealing with some overlap from the SEC at that point, as well as the CFTC. So as we move forward with the legislation, and we're waiting for the vote, like I said, but this is all coming very soon. So if we look at this and we say, BACT is planning on launching on the 24th, right? We look at the fact that the DX.Exchange is looking on launching at the first week of January. If they have these kind of dates, and we may not have the votes in on things, but it's obvious to me when you see this happening, we're close. Now, whether they vote on something slightly shortly after or the day before, I don't know. Again, I think these are moments where it's like, we don't have to be that right. I think the point is when you see them setting dates like this, we're close, and it's getting ready to happen because they know it's time for them to do it, because they see the other things happening on the other side of the market as far as stocks. And obviously the markets over there are not doing very well. And we are going to look like a really, really, really great place to put your money. And it's already looking like that now, if I don't mind saying so. So a question I have here, one of the questions I have here today is, looking as we move forward with the legislation and we get the clearance, will the 55 billion XRP that are held in escrow by Ripple, we know, will they be able to hold that? Will they be able to continue to hold that after we get our rulings from everybody we need to have them from? Will they as a company be able to remain holding in escrow the 55 billion XRP that they have? Another question I have is, are there 55 billion really left? I don't know. But I know that there's OTC, the over-the-counter market, where they don't have to disclose who it's going to or how much or for how much. So when I take in those things, I tend to wonder also, is the number still 55 billion? And look, somebody out here may know the answer to that, and I may be asking a question that there's already a simple answer for. I just don't know. But I can't help but wonder whether it's already diminished the number and been divvied out amongst large partnerships, or maybe it's something they do afterwards. Another question I have, if they're not allowed to hold the 55 billion, or even if they are, what about the Federal Reserve coming in, or the IMF, or both, and absorbing or taking the remainder of the XRP tokens over? I mean, I think these are all plausible. They're questions worth asking, right? What would be the implications of such a thing? I mean, we hear a lot of rumbling from the IMF about adopting a digital asset and obviously attaching it to the SDR. We already know about plenty of other things, Brad Garlinghouse and that nice little moment on stage with the lawyer from the IMF, and many, many, many other things that are circumstantial. But it does beg the question, will the company Ripple be able to remain holding that escrow, right? Now, there are some other questions I want to get into concerning XRP and how it grows from here and exactly how it happens. I've been talking back and forth with a Twitter friend here, Savvy XRP. He's really gives some great information, and shout out to you, Savvy. And while I'm shouting out, shout out to Stewart XRP, Bank XRP. You guys are fantastic. There's just great stuff out there. Leonidas, great stuff, and I appreciate everything you guys do and share. But anyway, we were having some great discussions about liquidity and liquidity providers, and he has sent me some really great information. Now, I'm not ready to do a video on just that yet, but I do want to do one coming up soon on the matter, because I think there's some really great stuff in there where it talks about an incentive program and stuff for liquidity providers. So I think it kind of crosses up and touches a little bit of what we're really starting to talk about here, is that remainder in escrow, right? And what should happen to it. Will Ripple be able to simply hold it and continue to dole it out the way they do and have the monthly release and then it come back? Or will it be deemed and classed in such a way that, there's someone that comes in, or an entity, like the Federal Reserve or the IMF, possibly both, who knows, right? And actually adopt this coin or this digital asset. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I'm going to kill it right there. Just leave some comments below. Again, I hope everybody had a great holiday, had a chance to spend some time with some people you love. I certainly did. Hit the like and subscribe. Great to see you guys again. Great to get back into the flow. By the way, I'm going to be doing some newbie series. I posted one earlier today for people that are just coming in and not really sure what Ripple or XRP is, and a lot of other basic terminology and things that we discuss all the time back and forth, kind of take for granted between one another. So keep a lookout for those videos too. And great to see everybody again. And hit those like and subscribe. Leave some comments. Talk to you soon. Bye.